Well, hello. Welcome to Spindle City Straight Talk. I'm Chip,
And I'm CJ.
and we have a one of our guest contributors on today, and it is Monday in the Riv, and we have a big storm coming tomorrow, and we had a shooting over the weekend, so we always start
Two.
off with the well,
Two
yeah,
shootings.
two separate incidents, yeah,
That's
but
right.
I think the second one, no one was hit though.
Right. It was a bullet was found in a car.
Yeah, so the car was
Yep.
but
Well, bullets are
yeah,
flying all over the place.
but remember, this is a great community. This city's safe, and there's no problem. There's no crime. There's nothing in the city, and to get Paulie, the pathological prevaricator, Paulie, again was on the radio today. The guy just never takes no for an answer. He started with the armory again. They can't find any money, and we could bring Nelson in on this discussion too. He said we can't find any grant money or anything like that. They're not looking too damn hard. Joe Camara said that the Historical Society said we're getting federal recognition and we could get federal monies for this. We can get state money. And so where the hell, why doesn't, I got a good idea, Paulie. Why don't you call Jakey, your pal Jakey, and tell him to get us some federal money? Where's our state delegation? Our state delegation not going to do a damn thing to get us money for that, because guess who's going to make the commission when Macomber gets that property? Kenny, the husband of our state rep. So they're not going to do crap. Yeah, well, that's what they're supposed to do. Serve the people. A Fall River landmark. He never quits. Those people just want to rape the city at all costs. And I know we have some people who just love Fall River, and we're hateful because we tell the truth. Yes, I will be hateful for the rest of my life because I'm going to tell the truth about this mess that we're in. And we're not going to leave Fall River. We're going to stay here just to piss you off.
That's it. And remember,
Okay?
Fall River is a quintessential community,
Oh, yeah.
according to
Quintessential. Yeah.
Livability magazine.
Yeah. Well, if you
Do they
pay
even know
enough,
what do they even know what the definition of quintessential is?
if listen, if you pay enough, they'll say anything you want. That's probably a paid ad. And so I
Probably.
mean, look, it's insane. But what's going on in this city, and Paulie on the radio again today. I love the way he used it. He pissed away $88 million of ARPA money. Didn't do a damn thing that was constructive except make our debt worse. He says, "Well, everybody's suffering this." No, no, not everybody. Not everybody. He named a few cities. Oh yeah. Well, Newton's not suffering. The red states aren't suffering. Only the blue states. The blue states who are pissing away all their money on illegals. They can find billions of dollars for illegals. And as a matter of fact, speaking about that, showing how disinterested they are in Americans. I was coming back from South End. I think I went to the gym. And I saw, when I got off the off ramp, because I take 24 coming back from the mall, they were cleaning out the homeless again. They had a giant dumpster, state police cars, Bristol County District, Bristol County sheriffs, and they were cleaning them out. And then the following day I got off the off ramp, and there was blankets and pillows right on the off ramp. I guess those were what was left of the homeless. So they're displacing the homeless again. Those altruistic, sensitive people. They banish them to another. Let them go find another place. Throw their stuff in a dumpster. And who cares? Not them. But then more will cry about, those people, those illegals. Oh yeah, They come from a place with dirty air, but they're in a hotel. They're in gymnasiums. They're everywhere. They're displacing kids from their schools, and they're going to try to convince you they care. And Matt Cumber, the guy who said, if you don't give me this right now, I'm out of here. Liar, liar, pants on fire. With that, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, I think it's time we bring our guest in. He's been patiently waiting in the green room. Welcome, Nelson.
Whoa, good morning, good morning. You know, it's true what they say, when the honeymoon is over, the honeymoon is over.
That's
We
it.
seen
That's it.
we seen the deficit that was just published. Um, Iceberg right ahead. Look, in
Convincing.
regards to, I'll say, in regards to the armory, if he tries to send it down, just to the council president, just take it off the table, take it off the agenda. It's a done deal. The council's not for it. It's just Paulie doesn't like to lose, and he hates the word no. Well,
I know.
it's life, Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. But here, the council is just not on the same wavelength of wanting to turn a historical building into market rate housing and sell it to a political donor. I mean, it's over. We need to move on because we have bigger fish to fry.
Yeah, well, the really interesting thing is coming before the city council tomorrow, providing they don't cancel the meeting because of the snowstorm, uh, is the fact that they want to transfer control of the Bank Street Armory to the Historic Commission so that
Yep.
they can apply for the
Yep.
grants, so that they can do the renovations, so that they can maintain the building. I wonder why we have to do that. Why can't the park department do it? Oh, that's right. We don't give the park department any money. We don't give them any money. So this is why this is happening. And now you can explain to the people why it's happening with homes and places to live.
It's Look, uh, I took it upon myself to find out what these buildings are being assessed for. And I want to say real quick, I agree with the transfer. Let them deal with it. They have the best interest at heart. So I have all the faith with them to do what they want to do and do right by the people. But since with assessments, what you're about to see is really going to be an eye-opening. I wanted to take into account 4 properties. And so we have a little mini video. And when it's done, we will slice it up piece by piece. But this one's going to be a show that's going to be talked about for a long time. So CJ, take it away.
And remember, Nelson, you can make comments on this as we play the video. Okay?
Yes, so it goes a little fast, so it'll be kind of hard for me to keep up. But I will definitely, when the video's over, it will be sliced up to the important information so that everyone can follow along.
Okay, here we go.
Oh, gotta go over to there we go. So that is where this information was garnished. Okay, so it's 38 3rd Street. Oh, so yep, there we go. And then those are the previous assessments, and we will go through the relevant information, and you will see the compare contrast with all of these properties, but the numbers just don't make any sense. And for me, I think the city's going to have a lot of explaining to do when they see these assessments, because they just don't make any sense. These are buildings that were converted to what it once before to market rate, and it's just that there shouldn't be any decreases with any of these numbers, because we've heard it for so long that real estate is booming in the city. And like I said, this city is going to be on the hook for some questions here, because they need to provide some answers. And like I said, the video is going. When the video is over, I will definitely tie it all up with the main message. Because for me, it just doesn't make any sense where we have buildings that are not only not having the correct assessment to them, but as a result, everyone else's taxes is going up, obscene increases, and city residents are posting those increases to show what's going on. And also the NBTA is in this as well. They, as we know, New Bedford, as you see right there, New Bedford was threatening a lawsuit over what happened with them because the MBTA, to them, tried to acquire property that wasn't fair market value. So it's going to be interesting, but these numbers, they just don't seem right. And there you go right there. Now, these are the taxpayers showing the tax bills. And as you can see, you see those increases. And it just brings a tear to your eye. And I want to excuse me, guys, been getting over a cold. So I apologize for that too. Been under the weather. Look at that, 28%. It's amazing. It's amazing. Look at this one, $820. She's worried about the elderly in her neighborhood. Up 35%. It goes on, and I think this is almost the end of it here with the taxpayers showing their obscene increases. And then this is the last one, 84, Social Security, $300 a quarter. And then that's the levy there, which also plays into a role because there's a question I have with that. And then this goes into the MBTA, because back in 2019, the MBTA paid $1 for that parcel, but back in that year, that parcel of land costed $80,000, and their excuse is that they always pay the fair market value. $1 is not fair market value for a piece of land that was worth $80,000. So it's look, and I want to see what Paulie's gonna do to get a hold of Corporation Counsel to take them to court because they owe us money. And keep in mind, back in 2019, we was not in their service district up until recently. So legally, even though the city council didn't oppose the land taking, they just didn't have the authority because we wasn't in their service district, just like how New Bedford was threatening the lawsuit. I don't know if they went through with that. But, so guys, given what you've seen, do you guys have any comments before I briefly go into these numbers?
Oh, yeah, I got a couple comments.
I know you do.
Number one, I know that they're gonna number one, they don't care about the people. Well, let's make that perfectly clear. You see these tax increases, we're gonna have a lot of people losing their houses, elderly people, and that is just it's infuriating. These city councilors should be put on notice by everybody. And secondly, I know when you go over these numbers, some people are going to say, well, it's about the neighborhood, the assessment's based on the neighborhood. But let me tell you something. Whether it's the land that they took for the MBTA, land does not depreciate. Houses don't depreciate. They appreciate. They
Exactly.
in value. So number one, I don't care what neighborhood it is. They're going to say, well, you're going to compare this place, but it's in a much better neighborhood and to this place. Well, if that place 4 years ago or 3 years ago was being appraised at $4 million and now it's being appraised at $1 million. You tell me how that can happen. You tell me how that can happen. Did the building burn down and we're just looking at the land? No. Is the building in disrepair? No. I'll tell you what's happening. What happened when Kathy Ann Viveris got the best tax rate in their neighborhood? That's what's happening. And there needs to be an investigation into all of this stuff. And kudos to you, Nelson, for doing the research into this stuff and bringing it forth. And we have questions, and I'll close with this, with what Cliff Pont said when our out-of-town city administrator said that the armory was worth zero. It was appraised at zero value. Well, number one, nothing is worth nothing if it's land, because land is always worth something. And Cliff made a very good point. He said, he said, who made that thing? Your assessor? Assessors, And he made a very, very good point about the fact that, look, he deals with real estate all the time, and he knows about valuations. And he basically shut them up like a clam. And this is the problem. They don't want anybody to ask questions. And they don't want, because they're not going to like the answers. And that's it. And with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Now, what Aaron doesn't seem to understand is that these values are taken when these buildings are completely renovated into market rate. They're not, they don't need renovations. These are on the books, ready to go. So for 38 3rd Street, okay, you have a total value about 1.5. Okay, so now I expected a little increase because, it's 15 units and it's a little over 10,513 square feet. So that's the square feet, okay? So it went up. And the building value for this one's about 1.1 as of this tax year. So this one, I don't really see any problem. Like I said, a little over 10,000, 15 units. Now, the Lafayette Lofts. This building is between 34,248 square feet to 45,640. Bigger building, 48 units, luxury. And when you look at this, okay, in 2022, the building value was 110,000. Next year after, 74,000. Next year after, which is current year 24, is $77,800. So you tell me how a bigger building is worth far less than the smaller building, and this building, it was converted into luxury, market rate, given all the money that went into it. You mean to tell me that the building value on this land is only worth $77,000, where you have 38 3rd Street is at 1.1 at its size? I don't think so. There is no way that building is worth $77,000. Okay, period. It's on the books. You see the pictures, fully renovated.
Okay. Let me just get one thing in quickly when you get to that building, because that building is a great example. Because they're going to talk about neighborhoods. Well, it's in the Flint, and it's not. I mean, that is absurd. Because I can throw a rock almost and hit that building. Actually, both of my kids went to the building that's right next door. They went to Mount St. Joseph School. That was Notre Dame School. It's in the same It was in the same yard. My house's value, assessed value, doubled. So I guess the neighborhood's not that bad. And I don't live in the Highlands. I live in the Flint, right where that building is. I live a block away from that building. And the assessed value of my house more than doubled. And so there's something rotten in the state of Denmark. And with that, I'll turn it.
So the total value for the Lafayette Lofts is $959,000. You see the numbers. Listen, there's no explanation for it. The fact is you have a smaller market rate building with far less units, far less square footage is worth more than the bigger one. So that to me is very suspicious. And like I said, he's basing his argument on the buildings that need work. These buildings don't need work. They're converted. They're on the tax rolls. Fully renovated market rate. So that one is suspicious. And then you have the Commonwealth Landing. This one is even more eye-opening. This building is over 100,000 square feet. Okay, about 103 units. And when you look at the description of the building, the city is saying that this is a condo building. And then in the next section, it says apartments greater than 8. So I clicked on the condo info. There's no condo data. But since the city says this is a condo, what is the name of the condo association that has been overseeing this property? How much money do you have in reserves? Because every single condo association has a reserve fund that they have for maintenance and upkeep. And then third, what's the HOA fee? Because when you look at it, since 2018, this building is labeled as a condo, and which is ironic. So, in 2022, you see the increase from 3.5 to 6.8. I'm like, okay. And there's 3 parcels with this one property. 3. And he's charging market rate rents, as you saw it. So, moving on to the next one. The next one, you see the picture of the Barris waterfront. Okay. They're saying that this one is a commercial, and it says condo / RTL. That means retail. Okay. So then I looked at the assessments. In 2023, since Aaron has all the answers, since he's, he knows all real estate, I want him to answer me this one. In 2023, that building value was at $6.7 million. This year, it went down to 2.8. How is that possible? How is that possible? Exactly. He's not going to have no explanation. So we see this pattern here of the decrease. Just doesn't make any sense at all. And when you look at these, it's like there's no explanation of what they can say. You have pricey buildings, not only misclassified, because with condos, the land value is at 0. Means they're taxed differently. But here, you have it just last year, 6.7. But again, he's not comprehending. These buildings, everything it don't need no work. Okay, this thing went up. Just the year prior was 5.8 in 2022. It went up to 6.7, and then a decrease down to 2.8. Like I said, this city is going to have some explaining to do.
Stop responding to that.
No, that's the last time.
Stop responding to that clown, because look, number one, if he knew anything about this, he'd be running a real estate business and be a millionaire like Cliff Ponte. So he's not going to determine what we talk about on this show or how we talk about it. Okay.
One of the things I want to bring up.
Let him talk. Let him dismantle everything we said on his show with the other idiots that watch his show. He spends more time watching our show than it, and I'm getting sick and tired of it.
I understand that.
I don't want him dominating this show. We've got people that want to. Tell them to talk to the people whose rent. The bottom line with this is, it's a real simple answer, Nelson. The rich are getting richer, and the poor are getting poorer, and everybody's property values went up except the people who can afford for their property values to go up.
And again, I posted his comments because it was an opposition place, and he does that, and he's opposition regularly, and that's okay. But he is right on the buildings that were decreased because of them being gutted. But Commonwealth Landing wasn't gutted; it was gutted years ago.
Exactly.
So why are we having a problem there? And the real estate property, just because you're making repairs or renovations or upgrades, doesn't mean the property value decreases. It actually increases.
Exactly. Which is the whole point here.
And the funny thing is, I used to have a real estate license, so I know. Okay? I gave up my real estate license because it was too much of a headache. I had too many licenses already. And I'll tell you, when they turn around and decrease the value of the property, there's several reasons they could have done it. Okay? I believe that retail property you were talking about, they were trying to sell that land and that property to put in 350 units of apartments, if we're talking about the same property. And
which one is that?
The retail one you were talking about.
Yeah, it said Barrett's waterfront, but the thing is that and it shows a picture of that. But the thing is that isn't it 6 million and then there's a decrease.
Right.
We've been hearing all the time that real estate is booming in this city than ever before. These are very, very questionable decreases. Very questionable. And like I said, these buildings are fully remodeled.
I understand that. And the thing is that how much of their value has been offset by tax breaks. Because remember, a lot of these properties have gotten tips and ties because the mayor loves to give his friends tax breaks.
Yeah. But those tax breaks they're used to renovate. That's why they get all that financial assistance in addition to what they bring in. That's to help them to renovate the entire thing. But again,
I'm really getting irritated here.
It's crazy.
Because let's stop overcomplicating this thing. Okay? Let's stop overcomplicating this. If you put an addition on your house and you pull a permit, they do not decrease the value of your house, do they?
Nope.
When I put an addition on my house, I didn't get a tax decrease. They waited till it was done and they came in and increased the value of my house. I'm sick of the bullshit. The rich get treated differently. Oh, that's why they did it. They gutted the place. I don't give a shit. My house is over 100 years old. I went through the whole thing. And every time I did something and pulled a permit, my taxes went up. But they never went down when I pulled a permit. But for these assholes, it goes down. Kathy Ann paid less for everything. Oh, she bought the house and she renovated it. No shit. I renovated my house. You renovated your house, CJ. Did you ever get a tax decrease?
Nope.
I've owned this house for 50 years. 50! And not once that I had to get a decrease with the thousands and thousands of dollars I spent on his house renovating it. You know, this is the problem. You know, the general public listen to these bullshit politicians, and they got their bobble-headed morons that try to justify what they're doing when it's real simple. They've been bending you over and sticking it to you as long as they've been in office. All of them. Because you show me one person who owns a residential house who got his tax decreased when he gutted his house. I don't know anybody. But if you're a developer and you're developing residential property, all of a sudden you're getting a decrease in your taxes? This is horse shit, okay? This is just another example. If you want to go dig into stuff, you dug into it. It shows what's going on. But let's not try to overcomplicate it for these people. If you're a regular person, you get screwed. If you're one of them, you get all the breaks. And it's that simple.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up because they'll try to overcomplicate it to confuse the people. And then the last one, the Adams house. Again, fully renovated. In 2022 was 5.8. A little over 5.8. You saw the footage there. 2023, 4.7. And then this tax year, it went down to 1.7. The building value went down a little over $4.1 million. And again, which brings the question as to why I showed the tax levies. Given these numbers, and these are just 4 properties. The first one, 38 3rd Street, no problem there to my eye. Given this disparity, one must ask, when it comes to figure out their property taxes, are they being taxed at the commercial rate or the residential rate? I would like to know. See, this is what happens when you don't overlook these numbers. And the thing is, for the assessor's office, you see these numbers, you see these decreases, and there's no questions. We have expensive buildings being devalued, fully renovated, fully. So again, it's something that needs explanation from the city. And like I said, there's a reason why I showed everyone else's taxes going up. You having all these shenanigans going on, and yet they want to raise your taxes through the roof to make you pay for this crap. And I'll tell you something right now, if the feds were to see these numbers, I can assure you that they would have far more questions and go far more deeper than what I'm saying. There is no, to me, we have expensive buildings just devaluing like this. Listen, I know if I own a house, or if anyone owned a house, or if Cliff, I'm pretty sure if his house went down in value like this, he'll be knocking on the door. Which my recommendation is for Mr. Karen, Mr. Cordero, given the investments you guys went into those buildings, I would be knocking on the doors of government center as to why the hell this is going on here. And again, for the Commonwealth Landing, it says it's a condo. There's no condo data. So if it's not, it needs to be classified as an apartment building. And then the land value has to be assessed as well. So I wanted to show and lastly, I just want to say too, they said that we have about 2,000 properties coming online. So that's more developments coming online. I'm very curious as to see what those properties get assessed for. All of this comes at a cost. And as a result of all of this, they're talking about possibly bringing back purple bags, other fees to nickel a dime to people. What's going on here is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And it needs to be stopped and it needs to be corrected because this deserves an explanation.
Well, it definitely makes for an interesting time, and it's tough when you're looking at numbers. And the thing is that, you know, we're not saying that we can't afford our tax bills. They put a dent in our pocket. But there are seniors out there who are living on a fixed income in a house that they've owned for 30, 40, 50 years, and they can't afford these outrageous increases. And to be saying that, you know, if you can't afford the increase, then you can't afford the property, don't live there. You know, properties are an investment. You buy a property for an investment. And now Maura Healey wants to make it so that if you sell your property, they tax you. They want to charge you a transfer fee. So again, they're picking at your pockets. And that's what politicians love to do, pick at your pockets. So it gets to be very difficult for people to understand why people get upset. And we get upset for this particular reason.
Listen, they totally understand why people are like this, because you know something, I don't want to hear that shit. You can't afford it, move. Because that's their attitude. That's Bloomberg. You can't afford an electric car, take a bus. You can't afford to eat meat, eat bugs or beans. And if you can't afford your vet bill, kill your dog. Well, that's really sensitive. And they're always accusing us of being violent. They're being violent against the average people. Violence against the average people. Because I want to know how Adam's house, who got, what, didn't they get like a H-dip and a TIF and every other?
They got an H-dip and a tie. Yes.
And a tie, which is a TIF in another word.
Right.
Yeah. So they got all that shit in a neighborhood where all the houses, I can guarantee you, if you look at all the surrounding houses, they all went up in value, and they go down to $1.7 million. You're gonna tell me there's nothing going on? But you know what they do? That's what the wokies do. They call you names. Oh, you shut up. Nelson, buy a house. Nelson, you live in public housing. Go jump in the Taunton River. You can't afford it, move away. They send them to the council. Tell them to move out. Because they don't give a shit. But
and I want to say
something
something
away from the fact that they're robbing the taxpayers. We're paying the full freight, and they're paying less, and they can afford it. And this is why we're not talking to you assholes, because you're in the tank for these people. I'm talking to the idiots that don't go out and vote. I'm talking to the 40,000 people who didn't show up to vote in the last election. That's who I'm talking to. Because this is bullshit. I don't want to hear the woke as snowflakes call everybody else names. And when you call them names, you're a misogynist, you're a misandrist, you're this, you're a racist, you're a this. I'm a that for you, okay? Because I don't give a shit what you call me. I know I'm getting screwed. And if you're not smart enough to know you're getting screwed, you need a lot more than pot to straighten your ass out.
I identify as a machine screw.
Yeah, and the thing is too, with cars, it doesn't matter. They always lose value. Cars always depreciate in value. Here with real estate, you have expensive buildings, fully renovated. The renovations happened years ago, and they're going down in value. And the thing is, and these decreases are sharp decreases, which is suspicious. Okay, and like I said, the city is going to have a lot of explaining to do as to why this has been going on for some time. Because at the end of the day, this is coming at a cost to the most vulnerable. If the city can get this wrong, actually, you know what? Since these decreases are so severe, I don't know. It's very questionable. But it's just for everyone else. It's not fair that this is going on at the expense of everyone else who's seeing their taxes go up significantly. So, like I said, I took it upon myself to access this information. And when I seen these numbers, I couldn't believe my eyes. Because I don't care who you are. If you invest in your property, sweat equity, you're going to be banging on the door as to why the city believes that your investment is worth less when it should be the other way around. Because the Lafayette Lofts, the Adams House for this one, okay, this one is a little over 23,000 square feet or so with 34 units. The building value for this one, as they say, it went down, as we know, but this one is at 1.7. So that means the Lafayette Lofts, which is bigger, that building value should be a little more than 1.7 on any given day because the square footage is bigger. But again, these decreases are very suspicious. And I'm looking forward to that. If this ever comes up, I'm looking for the explanation from this city as to why they believe that fully renovated market rate buildings are worth less when it should be the other way around. So it's gonna be interesting in the city of Fall River.
I'll give you a suggestion, only because you're very interested in this and you're trying to pick it apart, and it's very difficult.
I'm done.
Get a hold of Gonzalez at the assessor's office. Find out from the city side why they did that. Maybe that's a waste of time. Maybe it's not. But it would be interesting to see what the city's excuse is for these buildings. Now, maybe they took the TIFs and the HDIP off the top of the value. I don't think so. I think they take that off the taxes. But it's going to be interesting to see when we start digging a little more and when other people start digging a little more. You bring the information forward, and I appreciate that.
You're welcome. And again, these numbers tell a story, and these decreases are very, they're really deep. And then you have, like I said, you have Lafayette Lofts. There's no way that building is worth $77,000, a luxury building. There is no way. There is no way. And I'm pretty sure Cliff is going to have a lot of questions come city council time. There is just no way that building is worth $77,000. But no, look, it's been a great pleasure getting this information, and I wanted to make sure that the people can see it. That this is a city furnished data. You've seen the first slide. So I didn't furnish this. I didn't create these numbers, but I don't like it. I just don't like it. And the thing is, I don't even own property yet in my life.
Right.
And this stuff pisses me off.
And you have a right to be pissed.
So and I hope I want to say lastly too, if this doesn't piss off the people to go to the ballot box,
nothing.
I don't know what will.
Right. I agree.
Well,
okay,
let me just make this point, because all the name calling will begin, and all the labeling, not name call. I don't give a shit names, but name calling. So if you're going to call us, let's you wokies apply your own standard to people. If you use the wrong pronoun, you want to throw us in jail. We've been called misogynists and everything else, and the individual called us hateful men. So you're violating your own code of it, because you shouldn't be calling us hateful men. We're just hateful. Because the reality is that you're assuming that we're identifying as men today, and by your own standard, we can identify anything we want. When I wake up this morning, I could have been a unicorn. Or maybe I was a giant asshole and you can kiss me right on the lips. It all depends on what I identify. So I'm going to give you a little education, because you people love words like misogynist and racist and things like that. Look up misandrous, because you identified and I'm not saying you were, you identified on that communication as you used a female name. You probably shouldn't have. But I'll give you a hint. You can look it up in a dictionary. A misandrist is the opposite of a misogynist. A misogynist is men who hate women, and a misandrist is women who hate men. So you use men in that terminology, but you don't know. You're violating your own codes. You people are so confused that you just, you only apply the rules to yourself, just like they're going to not prosecute Biden or Hillary Clinton, but they're going to prosecute Trump. You guys love to make up rules as you go along. Well, most people live by laws and rules that apply to everyone, but you like to have a sliding scale. So if you're going to call us something, just use your woke terminology, because who knows what we identified it with this morning. So this is the whole problem with this thing. You got these shills that try to cloud the argument with bullshit, and we've heard it all. We heard the Dominion suit. They had it under control. They had the Dominion suit under control. We sat in the council chamber and they lost it. So, CJ, you're telling them to go down and listen to the city? Well, the only thing I can say is put on your hip boots, Nelson, if you go down there and try to get that explanation. But it might be a good thing to do. You can come back on the show and tell us what line of bullshit they tried to do to justify this. And with that, I think I've had it for today.
I understand. Well, I want to thank you all for watching. And remember, stay safe, stay angry, and hold your politicians accountable. We'll see you on Wednesday. And watch out for the snow. A parking ban goes into effect at 6 p.m. tonight. 6 p.m. tonight. And it's until further notice. So take heed. You don't want to get your car ticketed and towed. Have a good day.